Welcome to the Tisch WNET studio here in beautiful Lincoln Center. It is our pleasure to welcome one of the greatest entrepreneurs you're ever going to find, Gary Vaynerchuk. Is the author of Ask Gary V, One Entrepreneur's Take on Leadership, Social Media, and Self-Awareness. By the way, how is it that you have 1.24 million Twitter followers? How did that happen?
First mover advantage. You know, my belief in Twitter started back in '07 when most people thought it was stupid, or more importantly, nobody had ever heard of it.
Right.
And I was in the wine business in New Jersey at the time, and I went on Twitter, and instead of doing what everybody did with Twitter, which was they talked, I listened, which meant that I searched what people were tweeting about, and anybody that mentioned the word Cabernet, Napa Valley, or Pinot Noir got a tweet from me saying, how can I help you? Or did you ever try this? And what I did was I was kind of the first listener on Twitter, ironically in the wine business of all things, and I built a lot of momentum and then started showing up on TV around it and became kind of a social media star, I guess.
Absolutely. Talk about your background in Jersey.
So it goes back a little bit even further. I was born in Belarus in the former Soviet Union, and we immigrated here to Queens, New York, in Rego Park in '78. Lived in a studio apartment half the size of this area with 8 family members. And my dad, very much my hero, got a job as a stock boy in a liquor store in Clark, New Jersey, and did the immigrant thing, which is mom and dad spent no money on anything. There he is, man. My parents spent no money on anything for a decade, which allowed my dad to buy his own store in Springfield, Short Hills, Millburn area of New Jersey, and I grew up in that shop, merchant, first generation. I always tell my buddies, I'm really living your grandfather's life, you know, because I come from a first generation background, not a third generation like so many people that are watching right now. And so at 14, on every weekend and every summer vacation, instead of doing sports, instead of doing all the other stuff, I was stocking shelves for 10, 11 hours a day. That's just what you did. And somewhere around 16, I realized people collected wine. I was a big baseball card seller as a kid. And that connection made me passionate about it. And in 1996, it culminated with me launching one of the first e-commerce wine businesses in America and building one of the largest independent wine retail shops in the country.
You know what's so interesting is, as I read about you, I'm fascinated by entrepreneurs. You know, I consider myself an entrepreneur. We have a production company. If we didn't bring in sponsors and underwriters, we wouldn't have this. And we do what we do, and you know, we struggle with it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm convinced that no matter how confident we try to be as entrepreneurs, there's an insecure piece of us that always wonders, will we succeed? But you have said that you believe that there are a whole series of myths around what it takes to be an entrepreneur, and you believe you were born to be an entrepreneur. Back that up.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing that gets a lot of people upset. And let me clarify.
Because where's the training?
Let me clarify it. I think right now in America, especially because of startup culture, because Mark Zuckerberg and Uber, that every kid in college just thinks, I'm going to start a startup, raise a bunch of money, and away we go. It's a different generation. Look, I think that everybody can have entrepreneurial tendencies. I do believe that anybody can work really hard and read business books and try and learn and train and become slightly better versions, or even sizable better versions of themselves. But listen, my man, I can go and play hockey every day for the rest of my life, could have from the beginning, and I do not think that I would be Wayne Gretzky. Nobody thinks that they can learn to be Beyonce or LeBron, but for some reason, everybody thinks they can build $1 million business. When you look at the math behind how many people actually pull off being a successful entrepreneur, it's quite rare.
But what are you saying to those people, though?
I'm saying...
You say lower your expectations?
No, I'm saying, look, you're more than welcome to do whatever you want, but I think if you lack self-awareness, you are putting yourself into jeopardy. I mean, there's a lot of people right now that are going to waste a lot of good formative years or lose a crap load of money just because it's cool to be an entrepreneur right now in America.
Do they even have any idea? Do you think that most people who say they want to be an entrepreneur, Gary, truly believe, truly understand what it takes to be an entrepreneur, to take on the responsibility, to be the man or the woman, with everybody else looking to them to be the rainmaker in the marketplace to do it?
To me, I don't need to, that one, I'm not sure. I think that's an individual basis. Look, I think where you're going with that is something I believe, which is, I just don't think people know how much hard work and how hard it actually is. The reason there's an insecurity for you is you know that if you don't sell the next sponsorship, this doesn't happen.
That's
like,
right.
I go to sleep every night knowing my entire ecosystem, my family first and foremost.
That's right.
The people that I really care about that become family out of friendships and working together for a long time.
And the people who count on you.
I have 650 employees at VaynerMedia right now. Like if I lose tomorrow, if I make 6 bad decisions, it's over. When you're the number 2, when you're the number 3.
Explain the difference between number 2 and 3 and number 1, because I talk about this all the time. What's the difference?
The game changer is that number 2, you're the right-hand gal of the biggest company in the world. When all the crap hits hard, you can still look and go, what are we going to do?
What's number 1?
You got to look yourself in the mirror. And it's very lonely. One of the reasons that I've been talking more about self-awareness in a business book, self-awareness.
This book is all about knowing who you are.
100%. The reason I'm saying more, not everybody's an entrepreneur, is because the dirty little secret right now is there is more depression and suicide going on amongst 20 and 30-year-old entrepreneurs in our world than anybody's talking about. Everybody's talking about the glamour of being an entrepreneur. Go to Instagram right now and hit the hashtag entrepreneur. And there's all these pictures of private jets and champagne and models, and it's so great. It's not glamorous. It's hard, and it's lonely. It's lonely. The difference between 1 and 2 is 1 has nowhere to go. It's on you. It is your fault if you win or lose.
Are you recommending that some who think they want to be the number 1 person, the entrepreneur, the person who goes out there in the marketplace, that they really take a hard look at whether they have what it takes and ask the serious question, am I better off being a support person? Am I better off being on part of the team but not being the quarterback? Because that is the implication of what you are saying.
Yes. How about that? No hedge, black and white, binary.
And then turn around, I push devil's advocate, and I turn around, and there are a lot of people who are saying, hold on. Our parents have told us, and you laugh already. Our parents have told us,
because
try to be the best you can be, and don't let anybody hold you back. Who is anybody else to tell you can't be number 1?
There's a big difference. First of all, don't listen to me. First of all, any real entrepreneur that's watching me right now, like if the 14-year-old version of me was watching this 40-year-old guy,
you'd ignore you right now.
I'd be spitting at the television. Anybody that's believing me and questioning themselves,
they're not an entrepreneur.
Already in trouble. You got it. You got it. And so we're living in a world.
Don't you tell me.
Listen, it's exactly right. The market, this market outside that window, they don't care about the fact that you went to Horace Mann. They don't care that mommy was friends with the administrator at Brown and you're at this nice school. Once you hit the market, it's the market. Yeah. And so, yes, we are doing a disservice, and we're generalizing. This whole theme of helicopter parents, 8th place trophies, I generalize about it. Not everybody's doing that, but let me tell you something. Anybody that is creating fake self-esteem in their kids, and there's a big difference between fake self-esteem and real self-esteem, meaning if you're accentuating weaknesses, if you're saying to your kid who can't hit a T-ball that you're going to be Mike Trout, you're doing them a disservice.
So let me try this. You talk about legacy a lot. Why? In your book.
Truthfully?
Yeah.
Like since we're in this zone together right now? Because I don't want to die.
Join the club.
Because
here's the thing. One of the things in the book that got me was the difference between clouds
and dirt.
Versus dirt. And it really threw me off. I go, this guy is getting too deep for me. Clouds versus dirt. Make the case.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think 99.9% of people watching this right now live in the middle. And I think it's the most dangerous place to be. So, dirt, being an actual practitioner, getting your hands dirty is kind of the way I'm thinking about it. I, right now, talk a lot about social media, invest in social media, run social media for the biggest brands in the world. And even though I have a 600-person company filled with 20-year-olds through every direction, as a 40-year-old in that company, nobody actually knows how to do social media better than me. I'm a practitioner. I know every nook and cranny about Snapchat, Pinterest, Instagram right now. And so when you do something, you have to know your craft. Next, clouds. You have to know why you're doing it. At the highest level. Everything else, the money, the all this stuff in the middle, but at the highest level, why are you driven to do it? Right. You know why I'm so passionate about this entrepreneur thing? Because when I was getting D's and F's, and let's get to the chase, when I was getting D's and F's in high school in the 90s, when the narrative was not entrepreneurship is cool, when the narrative was going to college is the only way to be successful in America, I was told by teachers and by my friends' parents that I was a loser. Even though I was making $2,000 a weekend selling baseball cards as a 15-year-old. That was considered a no, right? And so the chip that comes from you're not going to succeed and then going out and succeeding and then becoming 40 and living it for 20 years and saying, wait a minute, the world is so different than what they tell you or what they're building you for. I want people to be self-aware because I got lucky. My mom and dad, they parented me right. They made me know that there was, circumstances for things that I did wrong, but they let me be an entrepreneur
you think
when
that's
it wasn't
the exception?
popular.
You've been very critical of higher education because of this.
Yes, they're businesses.
Well, so hold on. You've said that higher education is not creating the environment that promotes the kind of self-awareness necessary for people to succeed.
In entrepreneurship.
That's all we're talking about.
So yes, do I think that it is a good idea for the following scenario? Go to Babson, which is an incredible entrepreneur college, and collect debt that you can't even bankrupt yourself out of to learn entrepreneurship? Yes, I think that's a huge mistake.
So what give 16 or 17-year-old advice right now, or his or her parents.
If they're lucky enough to have audited and realized that that child is an entrepreneur for real, they should go as soon as possible and work and put it into action. The same way athletes and entertainers do.
Hold on, don't go to college?
That's right.
You can't. Now, listen, hold on.
Yeah.
We're in the public broadcasting world. We're in educational television.
Yeah.
We have American Graduate Day here, where our president, Neil Shapiro, and our team dedicated an entire day to promoting education, and you just said, don't go to college.
I believe that there's a subset, which is the most American thing we've got, which is entrepreneurship, that is absolutely, positively in 2016 not structured to be a winning entrepreneur because of the college system.
But to push back, all the research shows that a college degree produces exponentially more income for that person over his or her lifetime than not having.
And this is where we're going to have such a laugh, you and I together.
Go ahead.
All the research funded by the people that have financial vested interest in people going to college.
So you don't believe the statistics?
I do not believe statistics that are funded to create a narrative that is in the best interest of the institution paying for the statistics. No, I do not.
I'm a big believer that education, higher education, even if it does not produce the income and the entrepreneurial spirit you're talking about, does provide a young person with a view of the world that he or she would never have otherwise, and experiences that he or she would never have otherwise, and may in fact be priceless.
I fundamentally disagree. I think that's the convenient narrative, and I think the same thing can be replicated, if not to a greater extent, if that same child spent that $45,000, $60,000 and traveled the world and worked in companies and did other things.
I appreciate your point of view. Did you go to college?
I did.
You did. And that had no impact on your view of the world?
Of course it did. I went to Mount Ida College, which was on its best day a community college in Newton, Mass. Every single kid in that school was a minority and a thug, and it made me much tougher, and it showed me a lot of parts of the world, and it brought me tremendous value. However, do I believe that same $40,000 a year could have been spent to teach me maybe not that exact same narrative, but other things that didn't happen in mommy and daddy's house? Yes, I do. And do I also think, let me just say this punchline, do I also think that it stole 8 months of me being an operator in an entrepreneurial environment times 4 years, that I could have had more learnings in what I was destined to do and it didn't give me as much upside? Yes, I believe that.
I'll tell you what, we're going to end on an up note. I'm a Giants fan.
This is not an up note.
I know.
This is devastating.
I don't dislike the Jets. I don't understand the Jets. And you're going to tell me in 30 seconds less why you're a Jets fan.
Because the climb is a hell of a lot more interesting than getting there.
So 1969 means what to you?
January 12th, best day. 6 years before I was born. I wish I was there. But I'll tell you this.
Go ahead.
I grew up a huge Yankees and Rangers fan, and I don't watch either anymore because the climb, baby. Knicks and Jets.
I'm still with the Giants. I'm still with the Yankees, but I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
You gave us a lot to think about. Gary, thank you for joining us. Can I plug your book again?
Please.
It's called One Entrepreneur's Take on Leadership, Social Media, and Self-Awareness. And I would argue that you're pretty damn self-aware.
Thank you,
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Stay with us. Provocative discussion here in public broadcasting. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. That was great, man.
Thanks for having me.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Sovereign Health System, TD Bank, Johnson & Johnson, Qualcare Inc., NJM, NJ Best, and by Verizon. Promotional support provided by NJ.com. Small news, big news, True Jersey. And by New Jersey Monthly, the magazine of the Garden State, available at newsstands. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.